Welcome, everyone, to our first ever recording for Collective Daydreams. And at that, our first ever recording for Eberron Rock Opera.
Woo! Yeah! Yeah!
Really quickly, we're just going to go around. We're going to go from top left to bottom right, just introducing ourselves, the characters we'll be playing, all the typical stuff you'd expect from a D&D podcast, right? We'll go ahead and start with you, Kellen.
All right, hello, my name is Kellen Clinton, and I'll be playing Clancy Caruso.
Hi, my name is Cannon Reed, and I will be playing Shael Varanen.
Hi, my name is Carly Bell, and I will be playing Elle Echo.
And my name is Kyla Foon. I will be your dungeon master and playing everybody else, because that's how this game works. And I think, without further ado, we should just do further. Our story begins on the world of Eberron, a world of magic, but more so than most. Magic is a part of everyday life, especially within the continent of Corvair, where people cast magic to aid them in their everyday lives. Magical items infect every aspect of a person's work life. Magic is the lifeblood of this world. Even your most basic commoner can probably cast at least the most minor of spells. But such access to magic leads to innovation, yes, but also to desolation. And everyone here in Corvair is very familiar with that. As the brutal last war, which embroiled the 5 nations of Corvair, ended only 5 years ago after lasting for 100. The war had no victor, merely a treaty to prevent further destruction after one of the original 5 nations was wiped off the map. Now, things in Corvair are uncertain at best. But despite this uncertainty, life goes on. And no more does the phrase life goes on live on than in the city of Sharn. This magnificent spiraling city that, instead of expanding outwards to account for its massive population, spreads up, reaching into the very clouds themselves with floating towers, magical devices that allow people to fly through the city for easy access, and even magical clouds at the very top of the city that only the richest of the rich are allowed to live on. Our camera falls through these clouds now, descending down into the city as we see monstrous gangsters shaking down an everyday man. We see people just trying to get to work on floating magical sleds that slide through the air on green magical energy. We even see bridges that are currently being worked on so that way anyone who falls off of them will magically be propelled to the ground with absolute safety, as one of the greatest risks in this entire city is just losing your footing on the way to work. Speaking of work, though, innovation is everything in Sharn, trying new things and reaching new heights. However, not every new endeavor works out so well, as we go down and down and down further into an area known as Tavik's Landing, a marketplace sort of district where people come and go constantly, from the airship docks on way up high and the lightning rail station way down low. And right there, we see promptly setting up is a young elvish woman who fiddles with a sort of rod that she has in front of her as she waves her hand as a tattoo sparks to life, a legendary dragon mark. These marks are passed down through many different bloodlines and carry many different powers, and now sort of feature as magical monopolies carried by different groups, known as the dragon-marked houses. She kind of taps on the rod in front of her, just like, doo, doo, doo. Okay, I think it's working. Hello, everyone. My name is Carmen Fiarlin, reporting from Tavik's Landing, and I want to give you, the upper socialites of Sharn, a look into the very dregs of society, as she points directly towards a disheveled-looking man hunched in a corner with notably bestial claws that protrude from his fingers as the thing distincting him from human. Look at this man right here. This is an urchin. That's a word which means someone who has almost no money and is really sad about it. This is what life is like for people down here. He's sad and pitiful with nothing to live for in his life. Isn't that right, sir? She puts the rod directly in his mouth. What the hell is that? Get the hell away from me. You see, down here in the lower city of Sharn, alongside rampant poor people, there's also rampant rudeness. That's why we need to help the people down here. So I'm starting this concept of reporting. A very new idea for House Fjarlin as a way to show what it's like to live on all parts of... No, hey, don't walk into my shot. Mister, hey! As she trails off running behind this very grave-looking elven man who strides through the parts of Tavik's Landing with grave importance. A flowing kind of cloak layered over his body and a head wrap around his head. And he is hurrying very quickly. Our camera speeds forward towards his destination, where we see a sort of area that is cropped out, a large dusty circle with many different brambles, traps, spikes, and even pits, one of which notably has a small goblin who is trapped at the bottom with a broken leg. This is a game of Hrozic. A new game on the streets of Sharn, brought in by refugees from the nation of Drome. And currently, on this playing field here, we see people fighting tooth and nail over 2 simple stone orbs in a brutal version of Capture the Flag where anything goes and brutality is encouraged. Everyone here largely fits the bill for who is expected to play Hrozic, especially down here in the lower city. You have shifters, people with animalistic qualities who slash and hack with their various fangs and teeth that they get from their werewolfen ancestors, as some believe. You have a whole minotaur who is rushing and goring through any in the competition. You have orcs who throw off their opponents with great ease due to their dynamic strength. And then, oddly, and sort of out of place here, there's a single elf holding a blade in one hand with a shield strapped to the other. Soft rain falls on his face, even down here in the lower parts of the city, as it trickles down from gutters above him. He sees the 2 orbs being fought over in the center of the field. The game has been close this entire time, but now it looks like it's about to take a turn for the worse. You see your very best friend, Brock, across the field. And you see him get absolutely decked directly in the face by a Minotaur's fist. Shael, would you like to introduce your character?
Hi, I'm Shael Vernon. I am a athletic, tall kind of like elf, wood elf. I come from nobility, but in my time, I like to sneak down to the lower parts of the city to play the game of Hrozic. Let's just say I dominate the field and make it my playground.
At the very moment when our story begins to focus on you, as I mentioned, you see your own friend pummeled into the ground by this heavy Minotaur's fist. And at the very moment that he does, the orb that he was carrying, trying to get it to the other team's side, flies into the air. As it twirls and spins and falls down, the Minotaur extends a hand to reach it, and you have only a brief moment to try and grab it before it does. What do you do, Shael?
I want to run up and try to use the Minotaur's back as like a jumping off point to grab the orb.
Absolutely. Roll me an athletics check.
That is going to be a 23.
As you run forward, stomping through the dusty battleground, you push your way through any who come into your path, reach the Minotaur, plant your foot firmly in its spine, and leap into the air, clasping your fingers around this orb. You duck and roll, tumbling across the ground as you slide into the scoring area for your team, as you slam the ball into the ground, as your entire team erupts in victorious cheers.
No! I'm Shael!
Brock grabs you by the shoulders, his claws digging into you, but you don't even care about the pain, as you are both just screaming in absolute joy. And he's like, dude, that was sick! What?
Dude, you took that punch to the face, dude. You took that punch to the face,
Dude, look, I'm missing a tooth.
You don't even have a tooth anymore, bro. You don't even have a tooth.
And as you're fully caught up in this celebration, the rain that's falling from the gutters above you doesn't even bother you anymore. The blood streaming from your wounds is nothing but an inconvenience. But in a single moment, you see the attitude shift around you. As the celebration, or even the sore losing on the other team, as the Minotaur is kind of grumbling to himself, even that falls quiet. And you kind of look around to figure out what happened. And you just see Brock just tap you on the shoulder and just go and point off into the distance.
What's over in the distance?
Your eyes match his, and you look off. And you see a tall, elvish figure, dressed in fineries from his homeland of Valinor. A head wrap around his face. He was in a grave hurry to get here, and you entirely forgot about a responsibility you owe to him. This is your father. This is Jalir Varanen, a respected and honorable veteran of the last war, fighting on the side of Brayland, now turned into a heroic star of his own right, but not fighting in the brutal pits down here in the bottom of Sharn, but instead in brilliant stadiums built by the city's elite, as a new rising sport to take the place of the exciting brutality that the people were used to in the last war. Mr. Varanen looks over to you in the distance and strides slowly, giving stern looks to the monsters that you are playing with. They don't dare to question him here, not after what he did last time he showed up, and that memory still lives in your head. Shael?
Dad, I was headed out. I was gonna go and meet you at the carriage. I was gonna be there. I promise.
I tell you, last night that I was invited to the most exclusive party in all of Sharn, and that this was one of the greatest honors I'd ever received in my entire life. And instead of getting ready for such an event, you go and play this game once more with these. He seems to choose his next word carefully and just says, people. Get in the carriage, Shael.
Yes, sir.
As you see a carriage descend from the sky behind you, as if perfectly on cue, led by a Pegasus, which gently sets down and clomps its feet along the side. You see a brand on its side that clearly shows it was bred by one of the dragon-marked houses, those with the mark of handling, House Vidalis. Specially bred just to maintain these types of carriages. They already have a change of clothes for you in there, so get going.
Thank you, sir. And I walk to the carriage.
As you walk away, you hear that your father asks a question to your competitors, and he just says, "Did he beat you?" And there's this murmuring that you can't quite hear, and you just hear him say, "Good." And he walks off towards the carriage.
The smallest smile, just to show that I'm not like happy about it, you know what I mean? Just cracks on my face, but I don't let him see it.
You get changed in the carriage, and then you are joined in there by your father as you change into like much nicer clothes, very like typical of Sharn rather than his like ancestral wear that he has on. And he sits down gravely and then like taps the side of the carriage to allow for the Pegasus to take flight. As we go from the lower parts of Tavik's Landing, way up, and up, all the way through the various sections of Sharn, from residential areas to the places where business and bureaucracy thrive, we keep going higher and higher, even past some of the most richest manors you've ever seen in your entire life, until there's a break in the clouds above you. as we reach the Skyway. A floating island constructed of cloud for only the richest people possibly imagined in all of Corvair. The richest of the rich, the elite over the elite, the 1% of the 1%. This is the destination of the party for tonight. The Tane Gala, held by the Ear Tane family, the most rich of even the richest families. When your father said it was the most exclusive party in all of Corvair, he was not exaggerating, not even a little bit. The carriage descends among other carriages up here that are even more finely decorated than yours, with gorgeous designs across all sides that display their various house signatures, crests, family lines, all sorts of icons that seemingly are there to show nothing but importance. As you walk on up to the Tane Gala, your father just looks at you and says, "All right, remember, at this party, you are not some sports player from the lower city. You're not even some schoolboy from Menthis Plateau. You are an honored son of a true warrior of Valinor. You're my son.
Yes, sir.
Good boy." As he strides up towards the door, and he it's already open for him, as there is a attendant there with a guest list. They are all the attendants at this party are wearing this shimmering black button-up shirt that almost seems to shine like it's made out of solid pearl. As he takes it, he's like, "What is your name, sir?" "Jalir Varanen, and my son, Shael Varanen. Requested by Celeria Irtane herself." "Ah, you're that sports star from the new sports thing. This whole sports thing, it really has Miss Irtane very excited, you know." It's like, "I'm aware. Thank you." As pride beams across your father's face. And he strides into the party with you at his heels. The party itself is insane to behold. Truly, there's no other word for it beyond crazy. Everything in here is alight with magic, as wondrous designs swirl in the air of giant, colorful creatures that just seem to spread out above you as a projected illusion, magic of the house. An entire banquet hall is set up to your left with food that just continues to pop up and appear seemingly out of nowhere, of wondrous delicacies, pastries, and all sorts of things that you would just love to devour, all appearing before you, some that you've never even heard of in your entire life. On your right are wonderful display rooms of gardens and ancient ruins and murals that have been recovered and displayed here because, well, the Tane family just has the money to do that. Every single person here that is invited on this guest list is either the richest of the rich in Sharn or invited simply because Celeria Irtane herself found them interesting enough to be at a party for all the richest of the rich, such as the category that your father falls into. Your father kind of claps you on the shoulder as you hear the people still coming into the party behind you. You hear once again the attendant with the guest list just chime in and just say, "Oh, Miss Marasha, it's good to see you. Your friend Mr. Musan is already here." As you kind of turn around just out of instinct after hearing this, to see a very short and plump human woman walk in. She has this layered pink and white dress with these kind of lacy ribbons over it, and a massive pink wig that is layered to look like a giant cupcake with even a literal giant real cherry on top of it that glistens with dew as if it was just misted. And she walks in and she just says, "Mr. Muson is here. Where is that rat bastard?" As this almost a predatory gleam comes into her eyes as you see her just very quickly hurry off towards the dining hall. As you kind of make your way further and further into the party, you slowly start to look around, but you don't want to stray too far from your father just yet. You kind of want to make sure that you are introduced together, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And for a while, you just kind of settle in, like seeing all these very crazy things happening around you. You even see that some people in this party are floating a couple inches off the ground, just so that way they avoid touching the floor at all times, just idly floating by. Everyone here is fueled with so many magical items and devices just for their own luxury and enjoyment, but also so that they can stick out. Finally, after a very long time of just like very meaningless introductions of, hello, this is my son, hello, this is my son, hello, this is my son, over and over and over again.
Nice to meet you.
Almost mind-numbing. You finally find yourself, you don't even really remember exactly how you got here amongst all the introductions, in a large group of other veterans of the last war, people who fought for all of the various 5 nations that were involved in the battles, now finally conjoined 5 years later at a lovely party, just swapping war stories as if they weren't bitter enemies who would have slaughtered each other without a second thought not but 5 years ago. As your father is actively telling stories of the battle, he suddenly pivots as he's realized that he's kind of drawn a crowd here of other listeners, and he says, "In truth, I got so used to the violence of the last war. My people's culture inspires battle. Battle to prove ourselves to our ancestors. Battle to prove that we are as great as they were. And then the war ended, and there was no more battle to be had. Until I approached Monsieur Taine on a complete whim, with the idea of turning a game from the lower city into something for everyone to watch, a true spectacle, a sport of Hrazek. Brutal enough to where the people of the nations can be excited about fights, but without having to worry about lives caught in the balance, like in the war. Something to fill that void of excitement. But I never would have had this idea without my dear boy." As he like reaches out to invite you forward to like the front of this crowd. It is at this moment that our camera pans out of the Taine Manor, zooming back across the skyway to another area of cloudy platform, where we see 2 other guests slowly walking their way into the party. There's a man who is very tall and slender, with a red cloak made entirely out of plucked feathers as a sort of status symbol, just to suggest that he has the money to order and commission such a specific item. A vest made of black snakeskin, a very nice and pressed dress shirt, clearly trying to appeal to the styles of Sharn and the nation you find yourself in. This is the Prince of Ostivar, a nearby nation, or a nearby island within the Lazar Principalities. And walking alongside him, as if he wasn't a strange sight enough, is an even stranger one, especially for the richest area in all of Sharn. A Medusa, a creature normally seen as a monster with swirling snake-like hair upon her head, known for being able to turn people into stone with but a glance. Carly, would you like to introduce your character?
My character's name is Elle, and she's somewhat of a pop star. She, she's a bard and she likes to play music and is famous for it because reasons.
As we focus on these 2 individuals walking across the clouds, the prince turns down to look at you, having to almost stoop from his enormous height. "Remember in there, Elle, you are brought here only on my invitation. You are entertainment for this party. You are to perform. That is your job. Do you understand?"
I know.
"People in here will see you as a monster. Don't try to prove them wrong. Just to know your place. Understood?" Wonderful. You finally make your way to the very same set of stairs that Shael entered but moments ago. As you walk up to the attendant taking the guest list, He asks, names? This is the illustrious Elle Echo, the Medusa performer of the Lazar Principalities, one of the greatest songstresses known to man or beast, with the delicate playing hands to match. Oh, well, Monsieur Tane is going to be delighted to hear that. She's been just... Sorry, I shouldn't get so excited. She's just been so excited to hear you play. And what is your name, sir? I don't... I should be on that list as the Prince of Ostavar. Nothing more, nothing less. Oh. He kind of like flips the page to the back. Yeah, I guess you are. That's weird. Okay, welcome in, Mr. Prince. Just checks off your name. And you walk on in to the Tane Gala. As you're walking through kind of like the entry hallway, the prince leans down to you and just says, if we want to stand out here as we planned, you need to make a scene immediately. Start playing. Draw the attention you deserve.
Okay, I start playing.
As Elle walks into the party, she takes from her back this large, almost like keyboard device, sprouting with silvery horns like the kind that you might blow in to signal war. But they are all connected almost like a pipe organ to these various chords that she plays on the keys. And as she sets it out in front of her, it begins to float, projecting a full illusion of more horns that sprout up behind it as a full-scale piano floats gently in front of her. She begins to play. Elle, would you please roll me a performance check?
11.
We love math here in Collective Daydreams.
Yes.
As you begin to play, despite yourself and despite your talent, you're nervous. You're used to playing in a nation full of ruffians and pirates, playing only for the court of this prince. And now you're playing for not only 60 of this nation's most wealthy, but also other performers, and that's the part that really gets to you. People here with your exact talent. These people could be better than you. You need to be better than them, and those nerves just creep into your playing. And it's still this beautiful melody as it echoes further and further into the party. And despite the fact that you're nervous, the magic is enchanting as you play. There's no illusions here, just true musical magic as the entire party is distracted by that strange instrument they've never heard before. Truly a sound that is one of a kind as all eyes shift from various conversations over to you. And as we go back to Mr. Jalir Varanen, he says, I would never have had this idea without my... What is that beautiful tune? And Shael, you see as all of this attention that was just on you, all of these people who are about to hear that you were the one that introduced your father to the game of Harazik and had to convince him of its worth and value. All eyes shift away from this moment to look at Elle Echo's performance. A Medusa playing in front of the richest of Sharn. What do you do, Shael?
Disgust. I stared daggers into her. And
Go ahead and roll me another performance check, Elle. You were saying, Shael?
I walk over just so I can be in the very, very front of the crowd, like I shove through, just to give my disapproving.
Absolutely. Everyone is almost spellbound by her performance, so it's not hard to push to the front.
Yeah.
I got a nat 20.
Oh, first of the podcast.
Now that all eyes are on you, your performance flares to life, horns blasting these beautiful piano melodies all across the Tane Manor as everyone is spellbound at your performance. Everyone is looking at you with nothing but awe and reverence. And then, in the midst of your playing, the vocals are added in. But your mouth doesn't move. Instead, everyone in this party watches as the snakes on your hair begin to writhe and shift as they begin to sing a choir's melody and harmony, singing to match the background with beautiful perfection. Not a single soul in this party is showing anything except adoration. Or, I suppose that's incorrect. That was just what you thought at first. One person, and one person only, is not smiling, is not looking up in awe, but is glaring. With a glare that you're sure might even turn a Medusa to stone. As you see an elvish young man at the very front of the crowd, with a very noticeable double scar across his cheek.
I blow him a kiss.
There's a few people around, Shael, that just like think that you're doing it for them and are like, oh, like flattered, like, oh my goodness, did you see that? She blew me a kiss. And Shael is just stewing in anger in the middle of everything. But before any reaction can be taken to that, all of your attention is gathered away. As near the top of the banister, at the very center of the manor itself, is a woman. A woman like no other. Gorgeous beyond compare. Dark raven hair done up in a lovely hairstyle that seems to flow as if gently blown by a wind that isn't there. Swirling illusions sprout from her back of a rainbow peacock's tail. Her black dress shimmers and shines with the stars of the night sky, the cosmos themselves displayed upon her garb. This is the lady of the house, Celeria Irtane herself, the richest woman in Corvair, or so they say. The illustrious and lovely Elle, everyone. As thunderous, lovely applause spreads all across the gala. I knew inviting her would be a hit. If I could gather everyone's attention, as almost everyone is here today. As all of you know, I am Celeria Irtane, holder of the Tane fortune passed down from my family for generations. We have used our wealth to strengthen the city of Sharn, strengthen its culture, strengthen its beauty. But I've realized, in the 5 years since the war that kept us apart from one another, that kept these parties from happening to the same golden standard that they used to be when my father ran them, I realized that I could not use my fortune on just the people of Sharn, and not even just on the people of Brayland alone, but I must spread my grace to all of the nations of Corvair. I just didn't know how. Until recently, I discovered something. Way deep down in the goblinoid nation of Dargoon, a statue of peace between clans. A statue of a promised treaty. Much like the Treaty of Thronehold, which keeps us all together even now. And this statue inspired me. And I realized that we need more artwork like this, more statues of peace across all of Corvair, lest we forget what we owe to each other. Kindness. And it is with great honor that I humbly present a project to send out these statues to every single city within the nations. Starting with the first statue recovered from Dargoon, the only one that will not be handcrafted for this project, the one that inspired it all. I present the statue of ancient peace. As she pulls a curtain dramatically, as a circular ring of fabric falls down to reveal a humanoid figure standing with a hand outstretched towards the sky in an inspiring pose, a muscular frame, wearing a bow tie and a thick jacket with living flesh and bone. Kellen, would you like to introduce your character?
All right. So this is Clancy. He is a human with like pushed back black hair with a little sprout coming out of it at the front, kind of down to his eyes. He has like these striking cyan eyes, like, you know, for the love of God, put on some contacts. You're scaring me, you know, kind of eyes. And he's wearing this full-on grandpa fit of like a bow tie the same color as his eyes, a dark green button-up, and a light brown tweed jacket. Like this, if this was a school setting, he would have been pushed in a locker by now.
As you are unveiled underneath this curtain, Clancy, the preemptive, very light kind of like golf claps that emanate from the crowd quickly fall away as gasps spread through the room. Where is my statue? Who on earth are you? Where did you come from?
I have no idea.
And it's at that point that we flash back. A couple of hours ago, Clancy Caruso arrived in the city of Sharn. After a very long travel from the middle of nowhere that he comes from, he finally made it through the front gate without being swindled, or at least he thinks so. He definitely was. He makes his way through with nothing in his hand but a resume with no years of experience, a can-do attitude, and a winning smile. Going door to door, door to door, door to door, just begging and asking for any kind of work for any kind of pay. To no avail. Doors are slammed, people turn away. It is an absolute mess here. Until, as you are finally like taking a kind of walk up to the upper parts of the city on a very long kind of like stair bridge, someone quickly is sliding down the banister as you hear a voice say, "Oh, out of my way, reporting the news, as she fully slides directly into you, clipping your leg as you go tumbling over the banister, falling further and further down to the city of Sharn.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry I was in your way. Like, falling down.
You fall from the very lowest parts of Tavik's Landing, down and down into the dark dwellings of Sharn, and you're fairly confident that in this moment, Clancy Caruso, you are going to die. You are going to be nothing but a stain on the pavement way down at the very bottom of the city of Sharn. And in a brief moment, you almost make your acceptance with that, as you don't really see another option. The ground approaches, and then you land in pillows? Lots of pillows. And there's something hard poking into your spine here as you like turn around, and there's a stony face looking back at you, wrinkled expressions and pointy ears, just snarling in this like very grave expression of gnashing teeth.
Oh my goodness, I turned a man to stone and killed him. What do I do?
The statue looks back at you, unmoving.
I'm so sorry. Oh no.
And then suddenly, everything goes dark as a lid is placed over the box that you seem to have fallen into.
Hey, wait.
For the next 2 hours, you are in nothing but complete darkness, being shifted around and jostled, nearly stabbed by a blade that's sheathed on the statue's side. It is a rough ride, even with all of the pillows, but you're slightly just too nervous to break through the lid. As you are carted through the city, presumably, you're jostled and flown until eventually the crate opens. And you see that on the outside of the crate, you are in this luxurious office with purple curtains and giant bookshelves and a magnificent desk that seems to float idly around the room in a sort of like half circle, just swirling around. Beautiful animated paintings on the walls illuminate the area of ancient history. And within the room, you see that there is a pedestal with a curtain tied around it in a circle, and a very, very alarmed looking human woman who has this bright blonde hair and striking green eyes. As she jumps back and you're sure that she's about to have a heart attack, she like places her hands on her chest. She's like, oh, who are you?
I'm Clancy.
Oh, forget this, as she runs out the door.
Wait, where are you going? I don't know what's going on. Oh.
Clancy, you don't know where you are, but you're fairly positive you're not supposed to be here. And maybe it would be good to be honest and forthright about that. But you also see a very convenient hiding place right in front of you. A circular curtain on a very tiny moving pedestal.
I'll go there, wait until I can figure out what to do.
Of course. You go in there and you're just like pondering and worrying. You kind of like mess with a few of the items in your pockets. You look at the compass that you have that you treasure most dearly. And you even like hold it up to try and get a view of the tiny little bits of light that stream in through the curtain. And it's at that moment the curtain falls as the gasps echo throughout the Taingala. And we resume back where we were. Who are you? Where is my statue?
I can be a statue. Do you want me to be a statue? I can be. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know how I got here. I don't think I've even.
As everyone is watching this, the secondhand embarrassment radiating off of this young man is painful. It cuts like a knife. And Clancy, you are not immune to that awkwardness, as you realize you need to do something to either explain yourself or get out of this current situation where all eyes are on you. What do you do?
So I think this is just all a big misunderstanding. So let's see. I was in Sharn. I fell into pillows. There was like a
he's with me, miss. He's with me. As you like look through the crowd as you said that, and you see like a hand shooting up in the back of the crowd. As walking forward is that very same blonde woman with bright green eyes and stark freckles. She has like the same kind of like pearly black vest and shirt that all the other attendants have here at the party. He's with me. He's working for me, helping me with preparing things. He must have just accidentally fallen in. Don't worry, I'll deal with him. As she like walks up and tries to like place her hand around your wrist.
I'll just go along. Anything to get me off of this little stage.
Kathy, Kathy, everyone, the head of my attendants here at my manor. And like she kind of like gives like a little hey. And she very awkwardly drags Clancy off into like a nearby hallway. We'll have a do-over of this whole statue introduction thing in just a couple of moments. For now, enjoy the party, eat, listen to music, celebrate, talk with friends. This is the Tane Gala, after all. The greatest party in the world. Cheers! As she raises a glass, as you see dozens and dozens of champagne flutes descend from the sky, floating into your hands for each and every guest. As everyone raises the cheers back to her. Shael, what do you do the moment that this champagne glass enters your hand and the toast is completed?
I look back to the Medusa, and is she still playing?
I think at this point she would have concluded.
Should have concluded.
Mm-hmm.
I wanna make sure she's looking at me, and then I want to do the whole boom boom and do conquering presence.
What does she need to do for that?
That's gonna be a wisdom saving throw.
Go ahead and roll it.
I got an 8.
Oh.
You are now
failure.
frightened for 1 minute.
You look across the room, Elle, and you see that elf from before, his eyes fully burrowing into your skull, and you're certain that something terrible is going to happen just around him. Like there is going to be something awful. And you are terrified of this man, and you can't quite place why. How would Elle react to like that immediate fear in the moment as the toast takes place?
I don't think she would do anything.
Just stand there frozen?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Clancy, as you are dragged off by Kathy over here, she just drags you off into the corner and like is very clearly like just like saying things so that way people know that she's talking to you. Like just what did I tell you about sneaking off? You can't go rifling in all this business. You were just here to help me move things, like talking a mile a minute.
I'm sorry.
Until she finally like gets you alone in a nearby hallway and just says, "You okay, kid? You looking okay?"
I think so. Sorry, I'm Clancy. I'm Clancy.
Kathy, nice to meet you. Sorry, forgive me for the lie just a moment ago. You just looked like you were in a bad spot, and I wanted to help.
Thank you.
Of course, yes.
I appreciate it. So, what is this place? What's going on here?
You have found yourself in the Tane Gala, the richest of the rich with the most lovely of accessories.
Oh. I pull out a pad of paper that's like a list. It says bucket list on it, and I go, "Shh," and it says go to a fancy party.
Well, that's cute. Tell me though, so just so I can help the lady of the house, where's that statue that you came in with? You said you fell into a crate that was being shipped through, right?
Oh, yeah. The statue. I may have fell on the statue.
Oh, that's okay, dear. Just where is it?
I don't know.
Roll me a deception check.
Wait, I actually don't know.
It was in the office with the crate that you climbed out of.
I forgot that okay, now I understand. Okay, I left it in the office. It was still in the crate.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you so much. And then she just walks away.
Who was supposed to actually put the statue on there?
Clancy, something feels wrong about that entire situation, that entire encounter that you just had, but you can't quite put your finger on it just this moment. But the main thing that sticks out is you feel like a fish out of water here. You need some people that you can talk to try and figure out exactly what's going on. So you kind of look around the party, and the only people that are like in any way like your peers here, like your age, are the two people currently locked in a stare down, still holding their champagne flutes from the toast.
So wait, are we all just like in a crowd, kind of?
Yes, the crowd's like dispersing slowly, but as for the moment, yes, you're currently just in a large crowd together.
All right. My pops told me this is a great way to make friends, and I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna put my hand behind Shael, and I'm gonna like drag him over to Elle, and then put my hand behind her, like put us all together, like, hey, how's it going? My name is Clancy.
As all of you are brought into this awkward group hug, Elle, you are like unable to resist as you are just like almost trembling in fear despite yourself, and you're angry at yourself for being afraid. Shael, you can try and resist if you want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna resist.
So I need you both to roll a contested athletics check. But I'm gonna give Clancy advantage due to the fact that you were not expecting anything like this.
Yeah.
All right, I got an unnatural 20.
Oh, I got a 17.
All three of you are dragged together in this kind of like big half hug.
Friendship wins.
Friendship wins, guys. As you're all brought together, and there's like a couple of like, oh, that's cute, oh, like from like the crowd and passersby as they're like dispersing to the various rooms to go enjoy the other aspects of the party. And as you guys are kind of like doing this sort of half hug, and Clancy's eagerly introducing himself, and you guys are still staring at one another despite this, Clancy, you see something weird go by. You see Kathy walking that way. But wasn't she just over there also? You just came from that direction. And then things start to pop into place. Back whenever you were younger, your pops would always read you like these old like mystery stories and things. They were like a big passion of his, you know? Like the classic whodunit type things, where little clues would add up towards the end, and you have a eureka moment.
Bro.
You like,
I got it.
you realize, wait, this is the same woman that reacted in total fear whenever I jumped out of the crate. But she's also the same woman that saved me from the crowd and acted like she had never seen me before.
I'm gonna say very loudly, like, not even like realizing my own surroundings. That Kathy's not real. Like goes throughout the hall.
As you all look around, and like the few people who are still here in like the main entry hall area just kind of look around and look at Kathy, and there's only one Kathy. And she's like, what? Oh, it's you. You jumped out of the... Oh, I gotta go. And she like quickly hurries off into a nearby corridor.
We need to follow her. I'm gonna like still having my hand around like Shael and Elle, start running after her.
As all of you, against your will for two of you, are dragged into a nearby hallway. You keep running and running until eventually you see an open door right at the end of this corridor. And you see a bedroom in front of you. And no sign of Kathy.
To a bed.
She
Hold on.
turned into a bed.
She turned into
I don't know.
At this point, for Shael and Elle, you guys can free yourself from Clancy's grip as he's like looking around the room trying to be a detective.
Why would you drag us here?
Well, I was talking to that woman earlier, and she was headed to the office, but that's the opposite way of where she just was. And I know that she wasn't there. I know that one isn't real. And
You all can like see gears turning in Clancy's head, but they kind of get jammed halfway through.
or maybe my mind's playing tricks on me.
Okay, and so, but why are we specifically here?
Because you guys are my new friends.
It is at that moment that you all hear a like a shattering of glass. And then like a door being opened very loudly, and then a like a crank being pulled, all coming from the nearby bedroom.
What? Okay. Wait, so the bedroom that we're in or another, like a parallel?
Like the bedroom that you guys are standing like in the doorway, essentially.
But it's in the room.
It is in the room. Would you guys like to walk on in after you heard those strange noises?
Oh yes.
Sure.
Gotta figure it out.
Inside of this room, as mentioned, is a bedroom with a beautiful kind of bedspread that looks like it is made out of like essentially soft, downy feathers that are just like floated in one solid mass together. So you're like laying in a almost cloud of softness if you were to lay in this bed. There are multiple dressers across the room, like a bunch of them, like whole wardrobes lining the walls. And very notably, for what you guys currently see, there is a tiny door which leads to a bathroom. And in that bathroom, there is a little cutout in the wall. One of those like, think like a laundry chute.
Oh, okay.
As you kind of like poke around the room here, can everyone roll me an investigation check?
16.
16? Clancy?
8.
6.
6. Elle, you and Clancy both get distracted by the very same things. You're like looking around for the source of the noise, and you look through all those like various wardrobes, and for various reasons, you two are amazed by the incredible selection of clothing in here. There is so much, and it is all so nice and so fine.
Wow. I don't even think I've seen this amount of clothes.
He's holding like a ball gown in his hands.
Yeah, you should try it on.
No, this isn't mine. Just put it back.
Shael, you overhear this and just whatever,
Yeah.
man. And you like continue looking around until you reach kind of like a vanity in the room. And just on a gut instinct, you slide it open like the drawer. And sure enough, there's a broken jewelry box inside, shattered at the top as it had a glass lid. Nothing remains inside. And you start to put the pieces together here, Shael. A shattering noise suggesting the breaking of the jewelry box. A suggesting a lifting of some kind of door. And then the cranking of gears turning, or maybe even a pulley system.
The laundry chute.
The laundry chute.
How big is the laundry chute?
Not like big enough for you to be able to squeeze through comfortably.
Uncomfortably?
Potentially.
What about Clancy?
He's just like a little bit smaller than you, but not small enough to make too much of a difference.
I guess that is all the people in our party. 1, 2.
2. Then a half.
You're the same size as Clancy, though.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
That's true.
as you guys were looking for clothes, I guess, I found the source of the problem, but it's gonna be a little cramped if we want to pursue.
Well,
So, out of everyone that you could have picked, why did you choose us together specifically?
well, I was just looking for people around the same age as me.
Okay,
And
because
I mean, you guys seem to have like some kind of like
Choose your next
I
word.
don't know, maybe like a staring contest. It seemed like. So, I don't know. I assume we're maybe getting along, right?
Okay.
What's that? What's that face?
One of
No,
the
it's
snake's
okay.
hisses on her head.
It's okay. It's okay. It's fine.
I look up at the snakes. Oh, hi, I'm Clancy. Hi, I'm Clancy. Hi, I'm going like to each of them.
Clancy, you want to crawl down this chute?
Okay.
Clancy, go ahead and make me a dexterity check, please.
Don't leave me alone with him.
I got a nat 1, Kai. First up, podcast.
This is terrible.
Clancy, you climb in with complete confidence, ready to go diving down this chute, and uh-oh.
I'm doing good. Do a good job.
Uh-oh.
Um,
Well, the problem is you get your torso down the chute, and that's kind of it. As now your legs are just sticking out of the laundry chute, kicking in the air, frantically trying to get you to go further down.
you guys, I think we have a problem.
Listen, I don't want to be around you any longer than I have to, but this guy clearly knows something's up, so we're gonna get along until then, and then we're gonna part our ways, okay?
Sure. Okay.
And I try to shove Clancy down further.
Roll athletics.
See, I was gonna try and get him out. So.
Like,
No.
as he's pushing, I'm like, hey, I just realized I never got your name.
18.
And right as you say the word name here, Clancy, you are fully shoved down the laundry chute to the. Boom.
Safe landing?
Are you okay?
Is he just safe landing?
You land in a bunch of clothes at the bottom. Even more
Okay.
clothes.
I want to crawl down the chute.
You guys gotta get down here. There are even more clothes.
I need anyone who's crawling down the chute, so if you guys both want to follow, I need both of you to roll me a dexterity check.
19.
19, you essentially swan dive down the chute, like compressing your body small and thin where you just curve straight through. It's weirdly elegant. Elle?
Okay, so I got a 5.
Unlike the easy elegance of Shael, you fully just fall down the chute, landing on your butt, just boom, straight into the pile of clothes. As you see, like various like bits of like you see like blouses and even a bunch of socks just fly into the air wherever you land, and one sock gets stuck on a snake as it's like frantically trying to free itself.
So where else, what else is down here?
You look around and it's a bunch of like other piles of clothes. It looks like it's a very large scale kind of laundry room, almost like a full laundromat in just the base of this manor. And it's largely empty because you wouldn't want any of this, you know, being worked on while there's a big old party going on. There's better things to be doing, except for one person. Kathy. You see her blonde hair even through the relative like dim light of this room. As she looks around and just goes, oh, beans, as you see her run towards a nearby door and start running up a nearby stairwell as fast as she can go. In her
that the one?
hands, a beautiful necklace.
That's the one. Run after
All
her.
right.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna cast Long Strider on myself,
Okay.
and that makes my movement speed, I know it doesn't matter because we're Theater of the Mind right now, but 45.
Sure. As you guys see, like, Shael, like, place a hand on his chest as an amulet kind of rises from underneath his fancy shirt and just, like, kind of gleams with a bluish-white magic. And then suddenly, he sprints forward at an absurdly fast speed, like, absolutely booking it.
Oh.
And it is with that speed, Shael, that you're actually able to see something very interesting. You get to the top of the stairwell right as Kathy is like, you know, like you're on her heels. And you see her form shift and change as she dives into a nearby crowd. And at that moment, you immediately put two and two together. She's a changeling, able to change her appearance to match anyone. I need you to roll me a perception check. You're the only one that gets a chance to do this.
Oh. 4.
Unfortunately, you lose any sort of like track of where she could have possibly gone as she disappears into the crowd, turning into someone else, presumably. Eventually, Clancy and Elle appear behind you. They're like running and kind of like almost out of breath, like trying to catch up to you as you were like sprinting
Jeez,
across
mister.
that whole work area.
Jeez, mister, you're fast. So where'd she go?
Not fast enough. Go, go, go.
Go where?
To the party. To search.
For who? Okay, I'm gonna like be going and looking for the exact same woman. That has now changed.
All right. Are all of you just gonna go try and find her however you can?
I guess.
All right. Here's what's gonna happen. As all of you like split up and like go and try and search the party for where she could have gone, I need everyone to roll me an investigation check.
That is going to be an 11.
11,
I
okay.
got an 8.
An 8, okay.
Oh, don't worry, you guys. I got a 7.
All right. We are gonna start with Clancy. Clancy, you run through like any place that you can think of to check in like the manor, and you run through multiple rooms until you eventually stumble across like a balcony on the outside. It's thick out here with the smell of smoke as people are out here like smoking cigars or even like very fancy long like brass lamplight cigarette smokers. Various people just lounging on the side, drinking as they're like talking about old glory days or flings that they used to have, or most often the things they've spent their most recent like gold upon. And you like kind of are looking around and you see that the closest person in front of you is an older dwarven man with a very thin beard and a gray mohawk that runs down the back of his head. He has a tattoo that runs on either side of it that kind of like swirls and interlocks with itself, almost making a chain pattern. And he's talking to a younger man who looks very worried in this conversation, but this is the closest people to you, and you just think that you might want to pop in and ask them where she might have gone.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Clancy.
See, it's just like I was saying. Everything in this world is run by money. People will tell you it's blood and money. People will tell you it's bread and circuses. No, it's just coins. Where the money's at, that's all that matters. That is everything in this life. And that is why you need to support House Kundarak in making more banks here in Sharn. They need to be more secure. People are gonna tell you that you don't need to put money into banks now that the last war is over, because there aren't gonna be raids on the city. But I'll tell you what, in the years since the war has ended, burglary is on the rise. Take a working man right here. Take this young server. You're not dressed like a server at all. He fully just like drags you over. Have you ever worked an honest day in your life? Of course you have. That's all you do. That's all he knows. All these people know is how to work an honest day, or how to turn to crime. Would you rob a bank?
No, of course not.
You're one of the good ones, kid. This is one of the good ones. But it's rare that they're gonna be one of the good ones. All right? Every single person in Sharn. Every single... He's like talking to you now. Every single person in all of the nations, with even the slightest chance that they could improve their lives by doing something terrible, they'll take it in a heartbeat. You hear me?
I don't know if that's true. My Mima says that money isn't really everything, and sometimes love is the most important thing in the world.
Roll a persuasion check.
21.
With all respect, Mr. Kundarak, I am actually inclined to believe with this young man. What we've seen since the last war ended is that while there may be many points of strife, people are also willing to work together now. The world is healing, and that is why I do believe in Miss Irtane's mission, even if you think it seems conceited. Good day, sir.
Oh, owned.
He gives you, gives you a gentle pat on the shoulder, like, good lad, and walks off.
With the power of love and friendship.
And you see that mohawked dwarf look up at you. Hey, kid.
Hi.
Your, heart of gold just cost me some gold.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to infringe. Um, is there anything I can do?
You can get me a martini.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Go, quick.
Have you seen?
Go on.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go get him a martini.
Clancy rushes off. Elle, as you are making your way through the party, you kind of stumble across Miss Eartane once again, Celeria, the hostess of this party, and she's talking to her husband very idly, and you see that they're exchanging coins in their hand back and forth. You haven't seen Mr. Eartane before, and quite frankly, well, Celeria is dressed to the nines, the beautiful starry dress, the black silk gloves, the swirling peacock tail behind her, the flowing hair in the breeze. Her husband's just kind of a guy. He has next to no hair on his head. He has a stubble on his face. He's dressed in a very nice suit, but he's just kind of hanging out. He's just the most dude looking guy. And you see that they are watching two other people at this party argue back and forth. You see a woman with the cupcake shaped wig from before, and she is throwing a fit and frantically shaking an empty pie tin in another man's face. The other man is a very sturdy looking red dragonborn who has a double-breasted coat similar a chef's coat, but it's black and has a kind of red ascot type tie tied at the top. And you catch various words of yeast counted, the control of the wetness of the bread, and various things, and you realize they're arguing about the best way to make a pie crust. But it looks like they would be angry enough about it to commit murder. And you notice with each ad hominem insult, insults of character that they throw, each of the Eartanes pass a coin to each other as they're taking bets on their argument. Celeria finally sees you approach and just kind of motions for her husband, and her husband takes out a little notepad and starts keeping score of the argument since she's no longer paying attention. She's like, "You are Elle Echo, yes?
Yes.
The rising star of the Lazar Principalities. It is a pleasure. What can I help you with, my dear?"
So, okay, I'm a little confused about this. But there was this guy that I met, and he's looking for someone that he thinks is someone else, and I don't really know.
Whatever do you mean?
Someone, that, oh, she stole something. That was it.
Stole something?
Yes.
Oh, you probably just saw one of my daughters. They're running around here, and they like to change their clothes and their accessories and their jewelry multiple times throughout the night. It's an affliction of theirs, if you will, something they just can't stop.
That's interesting.
You're not too familiar with the rich folks, are you?
No, ma'am.
Watch these two. These two right here. This is Miss Marasha and Mr. Mousson, the owners of the two most luxurious restaurants in all of the Skyway. Do you know why I invite them?
No.
Because of exactly what they're doing right now. They have the same inane arguments about the smallest of details of restaurateuring every single year I invite them to this party. And I love it. The way that you make it.
Pie?
Of course, look at them. They'd practically rip out each other's throats if there weren't eyes on them. The way that you make it amongst the rich, Elle, is by playing on the fact that every rich person thinks they are entitled to more. Every single person with money thinks they deserve that much more. And that is exactly why they argue. Because if it weren't for the other restaurant, there would only be a single bistro in all of the Skyway. But because they compete, they feel entitled to each other's money, that if they simply weren't there, then all the money would be theirs. It's like a battle that never quite ends.
Okay, I think I understand.
That's great.
Why are you telling me this?
I appreciate those who have an aptitude to rise above their circumstance. And you are certainly that. A Medusa raised outside of Drome, living in a land full of pirates, yet somehow being just talented enough to branch out. When I was talking to that mysterious prince of yours, he spoke so highly of you and how grand your talents were, and I'll be honest, I didn't think that you would pan out. I thought that it would be a laughing stock, and at least we'd have some comedy going around the party today. But you dazzled everyone, truly. You surprised even me, and I love surprises.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, if you're not too worried about the theft thing.
I doubt it was a
Then-
theft, dear. Don't worry your head about it.
Okay, then I'm gonna go find my friends. My friends.
Of course. By all means.
Okay.
And with
she
that, you
walks
leave
away.
Celeria, yeah. Finally, Shael, you make your way into the dining hall. As it's the place with like the most crowded people of here. Like everyone is like piling around these giant tables, taking bits of like cakes and pies and all sorts of things that ironically enough are provided by the two restaurateurs who are currently arguing in the entry hall. And you see near the very back of the room are a bunch of halflings all gathered around like one end of the table. They're all wearing different shades of like brown and tan suits. And notably, each and every one of them has some kind of like tooth-shaped accessory hanging on them somewhere, whether it is like a necklace with razor-sharp teeth, an earring on one ear, or even like some that are stuffed into like the brim of the fedoras that they wear. Additionally, within this room, on like kind of the opposite end of it here, you see some of the like veterans from the last war that your father was talking to, though you don't see any sign of your father himself. It's likely that if anyone quickly ran through this room, either of these two groups would have seen them. It's just a matter of which one might entertain you more here. Which one do you approach, if any?
The veterans.
Veterans? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's Jalir's little kid. You look just
Yes.
like him.
Thank you so much. Just a quick question for you folks.
Shoot. Don't actually, though. And he like
Oh.
holds up his hands.
That was a good one. Yeah, that was good. Have you seen anyone seeming to be in a hurry? Like just, maybe seeming like they're clutching something they shouldn't be?
You got a lot to learn about being rich here, kid. No one at this party is gonna be in a hurry to get anywhere, because everyone here has already made it. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, unless they're a changeling trying to steal from a very fancy house.
Changeling?
Absolutely.
There's no
sir.
changelings in the Skyway. They're all down in the bottom of the city, all just, being pickpockets and nonsense.
Trust
Or
me,
hanging out. Ooh, here's a tip. Unless you want to ruin your life, stay away from that store in Tavik's Landing called Velvet's. It's a whole place filled with changelings that fulfill fantasies for you. It's a whole mess. Don't get involved there.
Yeah, I've never even. I don't even know what a velvet is, honestly.
Good.
I couldn't even
Keep it that way.
I couldn't even tell you what a velvet is.
That's
if I
great.
wanted to.
Love to hear it.
Yeah.
Love to hear it. Good kid.
Yeah,
Good.
never been in there.
Kid. Just like Jalir, to raise a kid as straight laced as he is.
Straight laced. That's me.
100%.
But you didn't see anyone, or don't? Do you have any? Do you know how like to lure a changeling? Like what do they like, or like how do you catch one? Sure, there was some changeling in the war.
Well, I mean, of course there were, but they're mostly spies and stuff. So we usually like catch them and cut off their fingers and or occasionally their tongues. Whatever we needed to.
How'd you catch them?
Usually they'd reveal their hand soon enough, or we just wouldn't catch them. Huh. I wonder how many changelings gave away our plans. Maybe we should be more worried about these changelings.
Oh, that's a really good idea. Hey, if you see anyone in a hurry, tell me.
Yeah, of course, kid, of course.
I'll be circulating the room.
Yeah.
If you see me again. Yeah, thank you so much. And,
Good luck,
thank you
kiddo.
for your service. Thank you for your service.
Likewise. Wait,
Nope, that's your
your dad. You look just like him. You get it. He like gives you a
I get
noogie
it,
as you're trying to walk away, and you're like trying to push him off of you, and it's
Yeah. Okay, bye. Bye. Oh,
Bye.
bye. God, hate people.
Elle, you just see like through the doorway of like the dining hall, like Shael just like stomping his foot angrily as he's like muttering to himself.
Did I see what like size they changed at least? Like, did they go down or up when they were shifting? Or...
Yes, actually, they seem to shift downwards,
Oh.
suggesting they turned into maybe a halfling or a gnome.
Do I see Clancy anywhere?
At this point, Clancy would probably be like making his way out from the balcony, like waving his hand in front of his face because of the smoke. All of you are kind of
Clancy.
gathered in the entry hall.
Yeah.
Look for someone shorter.
Someone shorter. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I gotta go run this martini.
Why? Why are you running a martini?
I kind of ruined a guy's sale, and now I gotta make it up to him.
Clancy,
I
never
said-
run a martini in your life. Are you a waiter?
No,
Then why are you running a martini?
because I promised I would.
Put the martini down. We have a job to do.
But he's gonna be so upset with me.
Who? Who's gonna be upset with you?
The guy out there.
What's his name? What's his name?
Shoot.
Are you ever gonna see him again?
Maybe.
Put the drink down, Clancy!
Okay, I'll put the drink down.
And then
Okay,
I'll put
so-
the halflings.
Oh, short. Short.
You're into the halflings, and you catch like the very bitter end of their sentence, and you just hear, and that's when I pushed him off the bridge. Oh. Can
Fascinating.
we help you?
Yeah,
You see the one at the very back is like this older halfling man. He has like wrinkles along his brow that suggests he's very used to narrowing his eyes at people. No actual like facial hair, just like more like wrinkles around his face. And his suit is brown pinstripes with like a very nice pocket square, and notably this very elongated fang that sticks right out of his hat, almost like how you might do a feather.
Would I know them?
Roll, we'll say a history check.
Okay.
I also want to walk over to Clancy.
Of course, yeah. We'll just say that you guys are all together now.
Okay.
18.
Almost anyone who's anyone in Sharn knows who these people are, and unfortunately, they're not great. You recognize these people as the, like, kind of upper echelon of the Boromar clan. The sort of old mafioso group that runs all the way back in Sharn's history. They've been here for almost as long as the city have been. Halflings from Talenta Plains who use dinosaurs as enforcers and collect payments from almost everyone in the city. They are always invited to these parties because everyone knows they do crimes, but they can't prove it legally. There's always a loophole for these guys. And you even do recognize the one at the very back, that older gentleman that like the clean shaven with the gray short hair. That is Saidan Boromar, the head of the entire organization.
Excuse me, Mr. Boromar.
What you want?
I just have a quick question for you, and I won't waste any of your time. Are any of your boys that you're around, are you sure all of them are on your payroll?
Roll an
As in you're paying
intimidation
them.
check, please.
Oh, not bad, actually. 14.
You mean my sons and nephews here?
Bodyguards, too. I mean actually paying, not like you're paying them off.
My bodyguards.
Do you recognize all of them?
You. He points to one of the bodyguards in the back, who's like dressed in a like black vest and rolled up sleeves. They have like multiple like gold bracelets on their wrist. like classic tough guy look, even like complete with sunglasses around their face, like little rounded amber lenses. I thought I fired you last week. In fact, I was just telling a lovely story about pushing you off a bridge. It's at that moment that you see that very halfling that he's pointing at suddenly open the door behind him out to the balcony and book it.
Get him!
Can I use command?
You can try.
I'm gonna try. He
Absolutely.
has to roll a DC 13 Wisdom saving throw.
Perfect. That is a 13, so that succeeds.
Okay.
As you call out a word of command, but he totally ignores it as you see him running out towards the balcony, fast.
I'm sure you don't want someone to think that your bodyguard survived punishment, so you might want to help me chase this guy.
You, boys, help this kid. As you see two other halflings, like, book it out the door.
Okay, cool. And then we'll just chase after him.
Yeah.
Wait, is it a
Shael.
circle? Is the party a circle?
Kind of more like a giant rectangular shape, but like the balcony goes all the way around the entire manor.
But could I say, like, Clancy and Elle go to it, like, where where it would lead off to?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay. You guys go to the other side, and we'll meet you over there, and we'll pincer him.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
Shael, as you run out the door, you hear a voice call out. Shael, where are you going? As your father calls out behind you.
I have to, save the day.
Shael, come back over here. I was just telling a story about you.
I have to bring honor to our family, our ancestors.
What are you? You see his eyes grow from like concern to angry.
I'll be home for breakfast tomorrow.
Shael, Baron, and you get over here right now.
I have to go.
And with that, you run out the door. I need each and every one of you now to roll me an athletics check. 13?
Natural 20.
Nice. And
Boy.
I got a 5. I'm not doing well.
between the Boromar clan bodyguards that are running with you, you see they like put on brass knuckles, which seem to have dinosaur teeth embedded in the front. So it's more like knuckle knives. Between those guys, Clancy absolutely booking it across the side, and Shael's just sheer athleticism and very used to chasing people down. Eventually, you start to progress and progress until you corner, presumably, the changeling at the very corner of this balcony, overlooking all of Sharn beneath you as the countless amounts of towers spread out down below. But for a moment, you swear you're seeing double, until you realize that you've cornered 2 of them.
Oh.
2 halflings which look exactly the same. And they point at one another and they say, "Boss, this one stole my looks." And the other one says, No, boss, you gotta believe me." And the other bodyguards kind of look around as they're unsure of what to do. At this point, Elle, you kind of walk up and you're like, "The air here is really bad." Very winded, can't breathe super well.
Wait a minute. I thought the original was pushed off a bridge.
Good job, Clancy. Don't use your head.
As you see the two halflings turn to one another, and I just said, "I told you you messed up." Oh boy. And then they tumble over the side of the balcony.
Oh no. Can I cast Hold Person on at least one of them?
You can try. That's a wisdom save, correct?
Let me see. Yeah, DC 14.
That is a 13, so that is a failure.
God. Wait.
However-
However, I was like, failure. I failed.
They they linked their arms together, so they still both fall off the side, except one of them fully straightens, stiff as a board, and then like falls on top of the other one, as you just hear one voice screaming and then one voice going more like as he's like fully paralyzed, falling through the sky. All of like the Boromar bodyguards like look over the railing as they're falling down.
Wait, does hold person just freeze them? Not like a movable rod freeze them, but just like.
Yeah, I assume it's just.
Does it freeze them in stasis in the air, or does it just make them paralyzed?
It paralyzes them, like they can't move their body.
Okay.
So
okay.
you see that like one of them is like essentially skydiving. The other one is just.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Do you have any dinosaurs that fly?
Not at a party, numbnuts. As they kind of look around, unsure of what to do. Elle, as you're kind of trailing behind everyone here, you happen to just be in a good spot to overhear something. As you see a Koravar man, or what you might recognize as like a half-elf, point over the balcony to say, "Oh, look, there's one of the ships that I sometimes pilot." As you see, as the changelings are falling, they land directly on the deck of a moving skyship with a giant ring of magic that's propelling it through the air. As it just like is slowly floating away from its dock. You see them land, and while one of them lands very hard, the other one lands gracefully on the floor, suggesting that they had some method to break their fall. And even as they're like little tiny like pinpoint silhouettes just looking up at you from the deck of the airship, you can feel that they are still like almost mocking the fact that you can't make chase after. Elle, do you say or ask anything of the man next to you who just pointed out that he knows about that airship?
I ask him if it has like a destination now, if he knows that.
Oh, yes. That ship, just based on its trajectory and the way that it lines with the air. Oh, and you see how the ring projects it forward. That's elemental magic, raw power harnessed as... And, like, he just talks for a awfully long time, taking forever. It's like when you look up a recipe and you just want it to, like, get to the... Like, cut to the chase already, and it's just talking about old memories with Grandma. And he's like, and see, I actually designed that rudder system along the back. It allows you to...
Okay, that sounds lovely. Where's it going?
Oh, yes, it looks like it's going to, Flamekeep. That would be my guess. Flamekeep in Thrain.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Lovely to see someone so young and, pink getting to know about aeronautics.
Mm-hmm.
And he just walks away. He's drinking like an espresso martini. As all of you look down at everything, at this whole thing displayed before you, Shael, you realize something. And you kind of hate that you're thinking it, but it is true. You could catch a lightning rail that's going to the same destination as that airship right now. You know exactly where the station is. You could take a carriage and you could get there. You'd have to leave the city, but you could make chase. As the three of you are kind of gathered on this balcony, the Boromar clan members around you giving up and just returning to go tell their boss what happened. You remember that necklace that was stolen from the Tane Manor. Whoever those changelings were, they still have it. What do you three want to do?
Oh man. Well, there was some way we could travel and catch up to them. But now they're gone. What?
How much does this necklace mean to you?
I mean, I care about justice and doing the right thing.
Yeah, that's a good mindset. I can get us there.
You can?
I can. Yeah, I know where to go if we want to go, but there'll be repercussions for sure, for me at least.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Let me speak with my ancestors for a second.
Okay. Where are they?
As he's just closing his eyes and saying nothing, that guy who was talking about the airship from before kind of like walks back in. He's like, actually, I forgot to tell you about something. The hull is actually designed to perfectly endure any adverse aspects of rain. So it actually collects the rain. He's just yapping again.
Wait. It what? Ask for it. The whole.
Oh, it has a rain gutter in the side of it, so it like collects the rain and then spits it out at the back. It's a really wonderful design. Cuts down on any wood rot that would be built into the side of it. It makes it to where the rain doesn't stick in and just flows out, and that's especially poignant as you're going through.
No. Hey, is there any enchantments on it that would make it easy to board from, like, say, like a perspective of jumping on top of it?
Oh, yes, but they'd only be active within the city of Sharn. Little featherfall
Okay,
enchantment.
I run and jump off the ledge.
Okay. Clancy, Elle, you just saw this elf you just met jump off. What do you do?
I look to Elle, I look to Shael, I look to Elle, I look to Shael, look to Elle, look to Shael, and I'm gonna jump off.
Okay, well, if Clancy goes, I gotta follow him.
And as you all are flying through the sky, descending as like you feel like clouds beginning to gather in the sky, like now that you're below the sky level, and you realize it's actually raining down in the city of Sharn. As rain fills your face and streams across your entire body as you descend through the air, you land with a soft thud on the deck of the airship. There's no sign of anyone on the deck currently, as anyone who's working on the ship is likely below deck, and that's likely where the changelings that you followed went.
How similar are airships to normal ships?
Largely, they are built in the same like shape as a regular ship. It's just instead of having sails or a mast, they have this giant ring that circles around the front of them that courses with elemental energy that propels the ship forward. So no steering wheel, no mast, no anchor. Yeah.
So I would not know how to...
Not at all. You've been on one of these once in your entire life.
Oh,
And
you guys
Shael and
actually-
Clancy, you've never been on it.
Oh, I get to knock out 2 of these today. I pull back out my pad and I mark off one that says fly in an airship. Anyway, again, I never actually got either of your names.
Yeah, okay. My name is Elle.
I'll write that down. I'll remember that.
Okay.
My name's Shael.
Shael. That's a fun name. I've never heard of Shael.
Thanks.
No problem, man.
This is my name. It's nothing really that cool, but whatever. Yeah, anyways, back to business. I didn't expect you guys to actually follow me. That's really, I'm glad your ancestors said the same thing as
Oh, well, I
mine.
wasn't going to follow you.
Yeah, I bet you wouldn't.
No, but Clancy jumped off, and so I had to follow him because, you know, he's my friend.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know, my pops always ask me, you know, like if all your friends jump off a cliff, would you? Today I learned I would.
I'm so happy you learned that, Clancy.
Yeah, my ancestors were saying, like, man, the monorail is so lame. Jumping off a ledge would be so much cooler. And so I was like, yeah, low key, they're right. And so I was like, so I did
trying
it.
to figure out how your
jumped.
ancestors when you were just there.
Your ancestors are always speaking with you.
Okay, please shut up now. So, what are we supposed to do?
Well, seeing as both of us, the offense and the defense, are both stuck on the airship, that means the playing ground should be pretty limited.
See.
So we just have to recover the flag, the necklace, and score us a little Score some points. Win the justice system.
Okay. So
All right. So what does
how
that
are we
mean?
supposed to take
I
the
don't know. I've never been on
necklace
this
back?
thing.
Okay. Great. Perfect. It's fine.
Well, if we think about it, this might even go deeper than the necklace. If we want to ride this out and go all the way to wherever this is gonna end up, we might find like the whole basis of what this is all on. Like whoever they're working for, we could take down like this whole, maybe like a whole crime syndicate.
Clancy,
I
are you
think-
ready to face a whole crime syndicate?
Sure.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm down to take down a crime syndicate. Never done that before. Sounds exciting. My ancestors love that. I think they're below deck.
Okay. Did your
Is there
ancestors
anyone
play that?
piloting this?
Roll me an Arcana check on that, Shael. See if you can figure out how these things work or remember from your lessons.
17.
These airships are produced by House Lyrindar of the Mark of Storms, and it is the Mark of Storms that allows for the control of elementals, beings made out of primordial elements such as fire, air, earth, and water. In an airship like this, there is an elemental contained in an engine, which can only be controlled or piloted by a member of House Lyrindar. So there is a pilot, it's just not like steering a wheel, it's like commanding raw power.
But they're here.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. So you said it's like a pirate ship, although it doesn't have a mast. It just has that energy,
It has like that ring that circles around the entire thing.
but it's still like a boat.
Yeah, boat shape,
Okay. Okay. Cool.
just in the air.
Got it. So I say we go carefully, because if we are to, disturb them, they might change into something else. But just, who's Clancy? You go first.
Okay. All right. I guess I'll go and sneak.
Sure.
Where are we going again?
Yeah.
As you guys make your
Oh,
way below
wow.
deck, one by one, kind of snooping and looking around. Ultimately, no matter how far you search, no matter where you go, nothing really turns up. There's a ton of people in this ship. Everyone just kind of assumes that you're passengers here because there's like little like rooms to stay in below deck. It's kind of a fairly small airship by the standards of them. And you all kind of end up in the middle of a cargo hold by the very end of your search, having found nothing. You have no rooms to stay in. You have nowhere to go. And the entirety of the city of Sharn is far behind you at this point. There's little to do but just to wait out this journey. And you have little places to go beyond this whole room filled with nothing but crates. There's a sort of like silent agreement of we're in this together whether we like it or not, as all of you find places to rest as the ship sails through the sky. And that is where we're going to end our session for today.
You.
If you guys want to continue following this story of Eberron Rock Opera and the Party Crashers, then you'll just have to catch us on the next episode. Yay!
Ooh,
Yeah.
Do it.
But for now, bye-bye.